They keep telling us that lab grown meats are the future, but Italy took a look at it and said, yeah, we're not eating that. And when one of the world's oldest food cultures slams the brake on something, we should be asking why. See, a couple years ago, Italy was actually the first country that passed a law that restricts and, in many cases, bans the marketing, the sale, and production of synthetic meats. Now, I'm not talking about vegan patties, I'm not talking about the plant based patties. I'm talking about the lab grown, vat cultivated meat that they are producing today. The kind that's being pushed by massive investors and food tech companies. And people online are calling it Bill Gates fake meat. And yeah, he's one of the biggest backers financially of this, but Italy didn't target a person, they targeted a trend. And their reasoning is simple. They said that synthetic meat doesn't guarantee quality, it doesn't protect public health, and it threatens Italy's traditional food culture. And that's something they take more seriously than most countries take politics. But here's the part nobody talks about, and that's countries with strong food cultures, Italy, France, parts of Europe. They don't just jump on new food tech just because a billionaire says it's the future. They always stop and ask, like, what's the long-term cost of this? Who's gonna benefit from it? And what happens to real food when fake food becomes the default? And honestly, it's a smart question because lab-grown meat is still in its early experimental phases. Long-term health effects, we have no idea. The regulatory consistency is weak and the production transparency is barely even there. Italy looked at the uncertainty, they looked at the hype, the investors, the government pressure, and they chose real food over fake food with no shame and no apologies. And you don't have to be anti-technology to see the pattern. Every single time they roll out new food innovation, it's always sold as progressive until we find out what's really behind it. Because again, real food does not need marketing campaigns and it does not need billion-dollar investors. It doesn't need patents, it doesn't need labs, and it definitely does not need a PR team. Real food has been feeding humans for thousands of years. And Italy's not banning the future, they're protecting the past. And maybe that's the part that the rest of the world is forgetting right now.